I've been thrown at my own after-show party in Cardiff.
In Cardiff?
Yeah, there's a lot of CCTV and police station footage on that one, but I was just the guy on the pavement that was not allowed into the party, so it has happened.
Please welcome to The Breakfast Show, the one and only Stereophonics frontman extraordinaire. It's Kelly Jones, everybody.
Morning. How are you?
Kelly, hi.
Very good, man.
Great to see you.
And you, yeah.
Exciting times are upon us when it comes to the Stereophonics because there's the brand new album
Yep.
and there's a tour.
Yeah.
So you're not messing about.
No, we've just come back from America and Canada and Mexico. It was amazing. So we're just about to go in to do the European shows and then loads of massive shows across the UK. So yeah, very exciting.
The new album, excellent title, by the way. Make 'em laugh, make 'em cry, make 'em wait.
Yeah.
That is out now.
Yeah.
We're big fans of it here at Absolute Radio, as you are fully aware. Tell us about the title, though.
When I was like in film school when I was a kid, there was a guy that used to come around when I was writing screenplays and doing artwork and stuff like that. He just always used to scribble it in my book, make 'em laugh, make 'em cry, make 'em wait. And it was something that kind of stuck in the back of my mind. It's basically the arc of a story, you know what I mean? And I think I kind of always used it for set lists, really. You know, you do something quite moving and people are emotional, then you tell a funny anecdote and they're having a laugh, and then the anticipation of keeping people waiting for the show. So it's always kind of, I think, been an underbelly of what storytelling and performing is. And the album title is usually the last thing that comes after you make a record anyway, so it wasn't like some sort of concept, this is what I'm going to do to people. It was like, I need a title, and let's use that one. It's kind of reared its head again, you know?
So it's a bit like how everyone's got an idea for a novel, but you actually have to do the work.
You do
when
the
you're
work
a
first,
successful
yeah.
artist, it's like, we've got to do the work on the actual album.
Exactly,
the title
yeah.
is just a little
the
bit...
The title has always come last.
Right,
you know, whether it was Word Gets Around, Forms and it was always the last thing. You know, you got all these songs, what are we going to call it? Then you find something, you go, that'll do, we'll call it that.
And
yeah.
what's the kind of etiquette in the world of rock and roll and music with like naming the album after a song that's on the...
I don't think I've ever done it. What I used
Well,
to
that's
do,
what I was kind of racking my brains to think.
Word Gets Around is a lyric at the end of Billy Davies' Daughter. I think Performance and Cocktails is a line in Roll Up and Shine.
Yeah.
Just Enough Education, I think, is in Mr. Writer.
Yeah.
So I think
Wow.
I used to nick a lyric from the song title
Okay.
and sometimes insert that into the thing. And on You Gotta Go There to Come Back, I didn't have it in anything, and then I went in and re-recorded one song and stuck that line in one song.
Oh, so you can choose it. I love that. Guys, we're going back in.
Yeah. Hang on, that'll fit there. I'm going to put that line in there. Yeah, so...
That is a peek behind the curtain that
Yeah.
we needed. Listen, something's been happening here on The Breakfast Show that does involve you, and I'll explain why, and it's been massive for us this year, is the Band of Mum and Dad. So this is something where we gave a bunch of people who are now parents who were originally kind of trying to make their way in bands, trying to make their way in music, and then life just got in the way, which it does for obviously so many people. And we gave them a kind of second bite of the rock and roll cherry. And we put the band together. We auditioned these lovely people over the course of like 2 months here on the show. And we got them together. And then we said to our listeners, because this is where real music matters, which 2 songs should they perform? And the first was an Ataris-esque version of Don Henley's Boys of Summer. This is the Band of Mum and Dad performing
One of my
it
favourite
right
songs
here.
there, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've stolen elements of that song for many years. Don't tell Don, but yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
our front person, Charlie. That's the Band of Mum and Dad.
Yeah, I never heard a rock version of it before. It's pretty cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
They wanted to base it on a version from about 2003 by a band called the Ataris, which
Right,
is
yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of leads into that. But the other choice, and this was like their big song. This was the single, if there was to be one,
Right.
chosen by our listeners, was The Bartender and the Thief.
No way.
I don't know if you've
Really?
heard of it yet.
I have heard of it, yeah.
So when this was chosen, our front person, Charlie, said, I love that song, but how on earth do I follow Kelly Jones? So, Kelly, I'm going to play it to you right now. The Band of Mum and Dad will be listening.
Okay.
We would love to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, let's
and they
go.
were so thrilled to do it. Here we go.
Pretty good, isn't it?
What do you reckon?
It's pretty good, man. I can't complain about that. I mean, I've never heard a girl singing that song before. It's got quite a weird lyric content for a girl to sing as well. So I'm quite. It sounds good.
So 10 out of 10. Well done to the band of Mum and Dad.
I would give them a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I remember years ago in like '98 or something, or just after that came out, I was in the Halcyon Hotel in Holland Park, and I think Liam had come in from somewhere, and he'd had a few. And he said he heard that song on MTV. I said, well, come on stage and sing with us. He goes, nah, man, I'm not singing it. Those lyrics are too complicated. I can't.
Oh, that's great. And having a slight his brother even back then, which is good to know. We spent so much time with those guys. They were great. But have you ever been in a karaoke bar or something and heard someone doing Stereophonics? They don't know you're there.
I wake up on Sunday mornings and people send me clips of people in weddings and bars and pubs singing my stuff. A lot.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I went home for Easter this weekend to see my family in Wales, my cousin said, do you want to come up to the Working Men's Club? I said, why? What's happening? And she said, there's a Stereophonics tribute band playing. I said, the last thing I want to do on my day off is to see me on the stage doing
a lesser, no offence, version of myself.
I think the singer, he's a big lad. He's called Belly Jones. So I said, no, I'm going to give it a skip. But my missus, she was like, no, let's go on. You take the kids. Have a good night. But no, it's always, jokes aside, it's always like an honour and privilege to see anybody taking any of your music and doing something with it. You know what I mean? If it means something to people and they want to cover it. That's how we started playing covers in bands from teenagers. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. It sounds really good.
Oh, that's nice. And I know that the band of Mum and Dad are listening and they will be thrilled to hear that. Let's move on from music, shall we, to another of your passions, Leeds United Football Club.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your promotion to the Premier League.
Yeah. Let's hope it lasts longer than 12 months.
I was going to ask you, is there a kind of, not just because of the Welsh connection, I promise you, but is there a Michael Sheen-esque speech that you'd like to give to Leeds right now as they embark on another season in the Premier League?
My brother texts me, he goes, they're going to need to buy 10 new players. I'm like, all right. Well, I think the history of them being up and down, it's all about Premier League's really hard. I think if you get through the first 2 years, maybe you'll stay up there. Brentford are a brilliant example of it, and they... but Leeds, as a fan, I've probably become more of a follower the last few years because it's been so traumatic, you know. Yeah.
You're talking to a Charlton Athletic supporter, you know Kelly. I know exactly how you feel. Yeah,
but they've been playing great. They've been exciting football, so I hope they do stay up there. But we'll see. I think Will Farrell's invested into the club. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, if it's good enough for Anchorman, it's good enough for me, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you get the full kind of hospitality prawn sandwich treatment? I believe Roy Keane once named it famously. Do you get a little? You get to go to the box and all that stuff.
I used to get invited quite a lot to go there, especially if we were like playing in Manchester and stuff like that. But watching Man United and Leeds is never a really friendly afternoon out anyway, to be honest. So,
I'd rather see Belly Jones.
Exactly, yeah. I went to see them playing Cardiff once. That wasn't that friendly either. So.
Now, listen, Kelly, I saw you most recently, even though I say most recently, it was like pre-COVID times at the Kentish Town Forum. And you were very generous of your time and you spoke to me before you took to the stage for what was a brilliant night of live music. And you were so good at hard-hitting journalistic questions crowbarred into song titles that I just want to do a little version of that, just 3 from the new album.
Yeah.
And we start with Backroom Boys.
Yeah.
It was recently reported that Taylor Swift gave $197 million in bonuses to her touring crew. You're on tour at the moment. How do you treat your Backroom Boys?
Not as well as Taylor. But we have got the same boys in the crew for about 25 years.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so I treat them with loyalty. I guess, loyalty and money. I do pay them.
Yes,
I do.
Loyalty doesn't pay the bills,
no,
Kelly.
It doesn't. No. But you've been here for so long. No, they get paid well, and not as well as Taylor Swift's crew probably, but no, we've had a lot of the same guys for a long time, so I think it's quite a family vibe on tour. You know, the front of house guy Dave Roden started as a van driver, then he's doing our front of house. he went through a few gearboxes actually on our van because he used to drive it like he was driving a sports car. He used to put his gloves on, and that was the end of our Merc splitter van. But yeah, we've kept him on, we've kept him on.
What, he had like leather driving gloves?
As soon as he would put the leather gloves on and we were in a Merc splitter van, we thought that's the end of that gearbox then. And it was.
Like a getaway driver.
Yeah, exactly. I think he thought he was Gosling. When he started putting the little stick in his mouth, he thought, all right, we've got to
have to promote you.
If we have to promote you, you can do the sound out the front, mate. Yeah.
Do another role. Yeah. Make it on your own. It's interesting talking about the band and Mum and Dad as we just were. Obviously, you did make it on your own. Your talent shone through. You've had an incredibly successful career. You're adored by millions of people around the world. You touched on also being at film school. If you were going to make it on your own in a different industry, even though obviously the kind of fame came to you quite young, was there a different path that you saw yourself walking? Is there almost a fork in the road where it could have been something other than music? Or?
Probably some element of storytelling in some form. The songwriting, particularly on the first few records, were very observational kind of story writing. I'd still like to get back to writing. I've probably got about 3 or 4 screenplays sitting on a shelf somewhere, and I guess the only other way I probably would have gone, I was selling fruit and veg in the market, and I was writing ideas on the back of brown bags. Some became songs and some became stories. So I guess somewhere down that avenue, probably. Yeah.
I love that, on the back of the brown bags.
Yeah.
Seems like you don't know me. Have you ever had to say in any situation, don't you know who I am? I won't judge you either.
Have I actually said that?
So, as a bouncer in Bulgaria, kicked you out of your own gig.
I've been thrown at my own after-show party in Cardiff.
In Cardiff?
Yeah, I remember going to the show. My picture was on the pass, and I got to the door, and the guy threw me out of the party, threw me onto the pavement. And I think Richard's family and brothers all kicked off. It became very messy, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of CCTV and police station footage on that one. But I was just the guy on the pavement that was not allowed into the party. So it has happened. And I probably, if I'd said that, maybe I would have got in and none of that would have happened. But my pride didn't allow me to say it.
You won't say it?
No, I won't say it, no.
Oh, so from a pride perspective, it's quite nice.
Yeah.
It's not like you don't want to sound like a bit of an idiot. It's like you should know who I am.
You should know who I am. Don't you know who I think I am? But no, I've never said it. I don't think I've ever said it out loud. I definitely haven't said it in my house because I don't think anybody knows where I am in my house. I walk in the house and they're like, album's out today. Huh?
Oh,
whatever.
No, you want a big response from the fans.
Where's the Cheerios?
No,
where's the Cheerios? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very different because you're making incredible albums, loved by millions, and I'm making this little breakfast show. But there is part of me that expects some kind of trumpet fanfare when I get
there's
home.
Nothing, is there?
It's like, I'm back, guys. I just did 4 hours of live radio.
There's nothing, mate. There's nothing.
No.
I quite like that there's nothing. I've never really brought it home that much, and the kids don't really bang on about it. But there are moments, Dave, where I'm going, hello.
Yeah.
But
have you heard this banger that I've just written? Yeah.
Nothing.
No. You know, I wasn't going to touch on this, but I feel I should, given the way this conversation's gone. I'd be really interested, if you have one, and I'm sure you have, on your opinion on AI, artificial intelligence, in the creative industries, because you've talked about writing stories on the back of brown bags on a market stall, to having screenplays gathering dust on a shelf, to obviously a brand new album being out.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think people connect to people, if I write a song and I'm very vulnerable and honest and truthful, it's not always a great experience writing some songs. It comes through a place in you that you don't really want to address. It comes through your subconscious and it's there. Other songs are joyous, sarcastic, funny, like Bartender and the Thief, but wherever. But when there was moments that are very open and other people connect to it, I think what they connect to is an experience and a feeling they've shared with you. Mm-hmm. If I'm doing Maybe Tomorrow on a field of 60,000 people, there's a part of those people who have experienced or felt something that song feels like to them. AI, I think, if you're going to get songs that you can do a song in the style of the Beatles or in the style of the Stones, yeah, it's all valid to make music, but I think at the heart of all of it, there should be some sort of soul and some sort of core to it. The issue, I think, what will happen is when people don't know, like my kids' generation or my little kids' generation or whatever, in 10 years' time, if they've never got anything to compare it to, how are they going to know what is heartfelt and how are they going to know what's not heartfelt? Because they're just going to get whatever music they get delivered, and you only connect to something because it attaches itself to a memory, doesn't it? Like you love certain albums because it reminds you of when you were 18 or 21 or wherever it might be. So it's quite hard to know how much effect it will have, really, because it depends where you make the connection to the music too, because music's like a time capsule. It just sends you somewhere else. But for me, I think it should come from a human to a human, and use it as a tool to enhance things if you want to enhance things with it.
I think, as you say, speaking as a fan, and you're the musician here, I think the connection to the person is important, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's important to think. I think where fandoms are built is when a song can move you.
Well, that's why
it's because that person has been moved in that way.
Yeah, that's why I think when you come to a live show, you're in a room with somebody and you're feeling it. Whether it's a stand-up comedian or whatever, you can have something perfect and it can sound like something else and production values, but I think it's the human imperfections that make things almost special as well. It's not always, it doesn't always have to be perfect all the time.
Kelly, thank you for your thoughts on that, and of course your album is dripping with excitement and great riffs and all the things you would expect from a Stereophonics album. It is out now. Make 'em laugh, make 'em cry, make 'em wait, and of course the band are on tour. You can find out all the details of how to get your tickets on their website, and of course we will be giving some away here on The Breakfast Show. But right now, what an absolute pleasure it always is. Kelly Jones, thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it, mate. Thank you.